Okay, so just start in standing just for a second. We're just gonna kind of wiggle our limbs a little bit so that when we come down onto the ground, everything's gonna feel hopefully pretty good. So just take a second to make a few wrist circles, just move in one direction and then move the other, and just notice how your hands and wrists feel. And then give them a good vigorous shake. We're just gonna get some blood flowing down to the wrist, down to the fingers. All right, and then take it into some light little twists just to move into the spine. All right, so check in here and just notice how's your back feeling, how your hips feeling, and you might even notice how your knees are feeling. All right, one more twist side to side, and then we're gonna bring it into a light little march, but I want you to kind of pick up your knees, but mush through your feet. So we're gonna work through the bottom of the feet. So think ball, toe, ball, heel. All right, and then stand on one foot and leave the other big toe on the ground and just make a couple of circles with your ankle in one direction. Nice, and then make some circles go the other way. Awesome, and then set that foot down, switch to the other side. Big toe stays on the ground. You're just gonna draw some circles with your ankle, go in one direction. Nice, and then go the other way. All right, now from here, we're gonna come down onto the ground. So onto all fours. Right away, we're gonna take it into some cats and cows. So we just wanna get the spine involved, get the central nervous system on board. So drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tail, and then round your back. If you like, tuck your chin into your chest. And if you really like, connect your breath and movement. So you can inhale as you drop your belly and exhale as you round your back. And we got about 10 more seconds here. So just move it at a pace that feels good to you. And just notice how your back's feeling, your shoulders, your wrists, your knees. All right, now we're staying with that all four position, but now find a more neutral spine and find a C spine. So we're gonna hug shoulder and hip at the side, like you're trying to make a little C with your spine. So we're just squeezing in at the side body, maybe finding a little bit of a contraction in the muscles in the side. We got 10 seconds left. And time, nice. Now we're gonna stay on all fours. Take your right hand, 30 seconds here. Your right hand's gonna come behind your head and you're gonna bring your right elbow towards your left elbow pit and then lift your right elbow up as high as you can. So just stay with your mobility. Elbow comes into the elbow pit and then lift the elbow nice and high. And we wanna see if we can keep the hips fairly level. So we're not finding movement down in the bum, down in the low back. We wanna find movement from the middle of the back up into the shoulder. So elbow comes to the inner elbow and then lift up just as high as your elbow naturally goes. We got 5 more seconds on this side. And time. Set that hand down, readjust as needed, and then bring the other hand behind your head. And away we go. Elbow comes to the inner elbow and then lift that elbow up nice and high, just as high as your elbow goes. Try to keep your hips fairly level. So most of the movement is coming in the upper body. Beautiful, you guys, that looks wonderful. Nice, Karen, really nice. Five seconds left. And time. Okay, now come into a little bit of a high kneel position. You're gonna step your right foot forward. We're gonna take about 20 seconds here. We're just gonna rock forward and back. And so you just wanna lean a little bit forward. So that sensation as if you're walking up the stairs, your knee comes a little bit past your toe. It's just a little bit mobility work. So only go as far as feels safe and comfortable in your knee. One more in and out here, and then we're gonna walk the foot out about 45 degrees. So toe heel it out just at an angle, and then come right back into that lunge. So pushing forward and pushing back. Nice, and now we're gonna walk it out to the side. So you're gonna toe heel it out, just as far and wide as your body allows, and then right back to that in and out. So we push into the knee and then come back in with control. And time, nicely done. Okay, now we're gonna grab one hand weight and we're gonna keep in that lunging position. So with that right foot forward, you're gonna take your weight into your opposite hand. We're gonna take a little side bend, reaching the weight down towards the ground, come up, give a bicep curl. Take a little side bend, come up, and a bicep curl. We wanna find a little stability in our legs. So you're gonna think about hugging your heel, front heel toward your back knee, and then your back knee towards your front heel. So you find your legs nice and engaged. And then just add that side bend. See if you can keep your legs fairly stable. And then give that nice good bicep curl. Beautiful, you guys. We got 20 seconds left on this side. And time, nicely done. All right, set your weight down, just put it off to the side. And now we're gonna switch legs. So the other foot's gonna step forward, straight out into that lunging position, and then finding that mobility work. So we're pushing forward and then coming back with control. And then only go as far as you have control of. So if it's just a tiny little micro movement, that's cool. You're still gonna find a little bit of mobility in that front hip and keep your knee safe. But if it's feeling good, push forward, let the knee come back, come past the toes. All right, now toe heel it out to an angle and away we go. Lean out and come in. Nice, and now we're gonna walk it out to the side. So you're gonna toe heel it out as far and wide as your body allows, and then away we go. Lean out and come in. Awesome. Now walk that leg back in, grab your single weight. So we're back into that straight lunge position, and we're gonna add that side bend, come up with control, bicep curl. Keep your legs nice and stable. Let most of that work of the side bend come out of your side body. You might even feel a little bit of a catch right at that bottom of the hip where the hip meets the side body. So you're finding some really nice work there, and legs are nice and strong and stable. Beautiful, you guys. And time. Awesome job. We're going to come down onto our back, but I'm going to say take your weights with you and just kind of put them towards where your head's going to be, just so you have easy access to them. And then once you've got your weight down, we're just going to take one weight. So weight holding sideways, knees are going to be bent. It's going to be a sit up with an overhead reach. You're going to bring that weight back to the chest, curl up, and reach out in front of you. So we're going to hold that weight sideways. You're going to take that at your pace. If there's anything funky going on with your back, maybe you'll just take it in a V sit in a smaller range of motion. But if it feels good to come all the way back, reach up and overhead, pull the weight to your chest, and then reach it forward. Nice. 10 seconds left. You got this. And time, nicely done. Set your weight off to the side. Next thing we're gonna do is some leg raises. We're gonna add a little flutter of the legs. So think your legs are gonna do a little crisscross scissor action. But if your tailbone is sensitive or tender, you're just gonna tuck your hands underneath your butt to give it a little cushion and then lift your legs up. And then we're gonna start by just crisscrossing the legs. Find that flutter of the legs first. And then we're gonna keep that crisscross going down and then bring that crisscross back up. We got 1 minute on the clock. You're gonna work it at your pace. If any of that doesn't feel right, maybe think about switching to just a single leg lift, alternating sides. But if this feels okay, keep your inner thighs nice and engaged. Flutter up and flutter down. And time, beautiful job. Float those legs back down to the ground. We're gonna keep the knees bent, grab your weights, and we're gonna take it into a chest press. So we're gonna load those weights at the shoulders, press up towards the ceiling, pull the elbows wide, lower down with control. A heavy weight if you can stand it, lighter weight if you've got anything going on with your shoulders. If your weight's a little heavier, take the movement slow and mindful, tune in, notice your belly, notice your back. So if you're arching to get those weights to lift up, you might be going a little too heavy. But if you can keep your belly button zipped down towards your spine and everything's feeling good, lift up with control and lower with control. And now if you're working with a bunch of lighter weights, you can take your reps nice and fast so you get a few more in, but just make sure your form is good and belly is firm. Beautiful, Trish. Nice, Judy. You guys look amazing. Nice work, you guys. Woo woo. And time. Now stick with those weights and we're going to stick with the chest press, but add on a skull crusher. So you're going to press the weights up. Palms are going to rotate towards each other. Elbows are going to bend. Bring it back up. Rotate the palms. Lower it back down. We got 1 minute on the clock. You're working this at your pace. So we press up straight from the chest, flip the palms, bend the elbows, press back up, rotate your palms, and lower back down. And again, you want to tune in. Make sure you're not arching your back to make that weight come up. So everything is controlled. Belly is zipped down towards the spine. And time, nice. Now we're gonna keep with those weights. And now we're gonna add on to that movement, we're gonna add a chest fly and a chest bump. And just so you know what I mean when I say chest bump, you've got the weights and you're gonna touch opposite shoulder, touch the opposite shoulder. So when we say chest bump, that's what we're talking about. All right, so arms are gonna stay up and overhead, palms face in. You're gonna keep a bend in the elbows, open wide, pull it back in, give a chest bump the other side, palms face each other again. Open the arms wide, bring it in with control, chest bump, other side, chest bump, palms face each other, elbows bend, open wide. We got 1 minute on the clock. Check your belly, just make sure it's still staying nice and firm. Nice, you guys. And that chest bump, if you can find it, the work is coming out of the tricep. So open nice and wide, and then bend the elbows. I like to call this the cheerleader, but Audra calls it the chest bump. So she's probably more official. And time, nicely done. Okay, we're gonna sit up, take your weights with you. We're gonna find our way into a V sit. So we're gonna keep our knees bent, lean back, get that core engaged. Arms are gonna reach out, and we're just gonna alternate bicep curls. We're gonna try to keep those arms lifted away from the knees so the arms stay engaged the whole time. And then with that alternating movement, it's really gonna challenge your core. So we wanna keep everything steady and stable. Leaning back to find that core engagement. If at any point that becomes too much, just sit up a little bit. You'll still be engaged, sitting up nice and tall, but maybe not so far back that you can't sustain it. Nice stability, you guys. Man, you look good. "13 seconds left. You got this." And time, beautiful work. Set your weights off to the side. We're gonna come up into a sort of standing position, but turning sideways. So I'm gonna turn so I can face you. Now we're gonna keep it in a nice wide stance position, and you're gonna come down to the ground. You're gonna step one foot out nice and wide, stay low, bring the other foot in, keep a wide base, rise all the way up. Lower down, step one foot out, bring your body across, step the other foot in, rise all the way up. And now, if you want to level that up, you're going to take your weights with you. So you're going to walk across, step that foot in, rise up, give an overhead press. If the overhead press feels like too much and you just want to work on that side step, leave the weights off. Nice. You got 10 seconds left. You got this. And time. Beautiful job. Switch out to a lighter weight for this next move if you've got them. Otherwise, just stick with your weights that you're working with. But now we're going to take a nice wide stance, and we're going to start to find a pivot. So pivot to one side, let your knee turn, pivot to the other side, let your knee turn. And then we're going to add on from there. So you're going to take a big pivot, let your knee dip down, punch the arm out of the back knee that's bent, bring it back to center. Pivot, dip the knee down, punch with that arm, bring it back to center. And then start to take it at your pace and your depth. So if you can drop that knee way down to the ground, go ahead and do so. But if it feels better to take a little mini dip, then take it in your range of motion, the one that's safest for your knees, your hips, and your feet. So it might be up here, or it might be way down, totally up to you. But you've got 20 seconds left. And time. Awesome job. Switch to one heavy weight if you've got it. We're going to hold that weight sideways, hold it up and overhead, and all you got to do here is march. Pick one foot up and then the other. You're going to keep your belly zipped up. If that straight up and overhead hold doesn't feel good to the shoulders, just hold it out slightly away from your face and just pick your knees up just as high as your body allows. Nice. Keep a little bit of a firmness in your center. Beautiful, you guys. And time. Nicely done. Lower your arms down. Woo. Stick with that one weight if you can. Finding a nice sumo squat. So we're going to take the feet nice and wide, bend the knees, hold in that position. Make sure your inner thighs are active. Arms are going to come up and overhead, and we're going to circle around the head. So I like to call these the bra circles. So it's helping with that area around the bra. So just circle around, keep a firmness in your center. Just really draw that nice big circle around your head. Legs are engaged. Nice. 10 more seconds in this direction. And go the other way. Keep that nice low squat. Keep your center firm. Inner thighs engaged. And time. Beautiful. Rise up, give your legs a little shake. We're going to put that weight off to the side, just a little out of the way. Now we're going to stick with that squatted position. So feet nice and wide, toes turned out slightly to the left and the right. You're going to come down into a sumo squat. You're going to reach down, touch the inside of the foot, back to center, rise up. Come down, lean over, touch the inside of the other foot, back to center, rise up. If you feel like this is not enough work for you, load it up, grab your weights, add that overhead press. But if it's feeling good, inner thighs engaged, you're getting that nice good squat work, that good side bend work. So one time we touch down, come right back up. Nice. Already halfway there. All right, even yourself out if you need to, so you get both sides done. And then come on up, woo! Give your legs a little shake. All right, from here, we're gonna take it into alternating side leg raises. So your leg's gonna lift out to the side. You're gonna touch down, give a little heel lift, lower your heels. Other side's gonna lift, lower down, heel lift, heels lower. So we wanna find the toes and the knees pointing forward. So you might not get a big range of motion, but you wanna find that side leg lift work coming out of your side glutes. So if you like to pay attention to that work, just bring your hands to the sides of your bum and then feel that action as you lift your leg up and lower with control. Nice. We got 20 seconds left here. And time, beautiful. Grab your light weights. We're gonna take it into a half jack, and a front shoulder raise. So we got 1 minute on the clock. You're gonna take your arms up and overhead with a half jack, up and overhead with a half jack, then both arms are gonna raise out in front. So leg steps to the side, arms raise up, leg steps to the side, arms raise up, come to center, both arms raised straight out from the shoulders. Take it at your pace. If you want your heart rate up just a little bit, you can always opt to take the weights off, go a little bit faster, or take it into a jumping jack altogether if that feels like a better way to go for you. You've got 5 seconds left. You can do it. And time, nicely done. All right, shake out your arms. Option to keep your weights or lose the weights altogether. Our last minute of work is gonna be a squat. So feet are gonna be about hip width distance apart, maybe shoulder width distance apart. Toes and knees pointing fairly forward. You're gonna lower into a little squat. You're gonna pick up your heels, lower your heels, rise up, and then alternate your toe taps. So one toe is gonna lift and then the other. So we sink into our little squat, pick up the heels, lower your heels, rise up, one toe pulls up, the other toe pulls up, and then back down into that squat. So when we pick up those toes, we want to see if we can find a little bit of engagement in the muscles that run to the outsides of the shins. Really good for our knee health. Nice. And now watch when you go down into that squat, just make sure that you're keeping the inner thighs engaged so knees aren't dropping in towards each other. 6 seconds left, you got this. And time, beautiful job. Shake out your legs, give everything a nice good woo, 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 wiggle, wiggle. Step 1 foot forward and just take a couple of hula hoop circles with your hips. Go in one direction. Keep that foot forward, take your circles, go the other way. Nice, and then switch your stance. So step that foot back, step the other foot forward, hula hoop circles in one direction. And then hula hoop circles the other way. Awesome, and then step that foot in and then give everything a little bounce, make sure it's all feeling good. Take your left arm across the body, plug that shoulder down so it's dropping down away from the ear, and then just take a couple of nods of your head up and down. Nice, and then bring your head to neutral and switch sides. Other arms are gonna come across, drop that shoulder down away from the ear, nod your head up and down. Head comes to neutral, release that arm. Now step your feet out nice and wide to a nice wide stance. Take a big breath, reach up, drop your left hand down, reach your right hand up, take a little side bend. Awesome, and then bring that right hand down, left hand reaches up, take a side bend the other way. Nice, and then bring it all back to center. Arms are gonna come behind the back, interlace the fingers, open the chest just a little bit, and then we're gonna fold this over and let your arms just fall away from your backside. Just let them go as naturally they fall. You don't have to force it or make it do anything that doesn't feel comfortable. Nice. And then keep with that folded over position, but unlace your hands and let your hands come down to the ground. We're going to walk the hands over towards the right foot. Let your nose drop towards your knee. And then walk your hands over toward your left foot and let your nose drop toward your knee. Nice. And then bring it back to center, and then just a little bit mobility work in the feet and the hips. Toe heel your feet in so they come about hip width distance apart. And then once you found your way there, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll on up to standing. Woohoo! Take a couple of shrugs of your shoulders. You guys are amazing. Grab your foam roller if you're sticking around. Bye, Judy. I hope you have an awesome day. Tell your dog.